Hi everyone, hello. It's Connie from Faff Designs. I am live on the Dixie Belle YouTube channel a couple of days later than usual because this is going to sound like a really silly excuse. It's not an excuse, it's a valid reason. We had a really aggressive heat wave in the UK. And I paint in what we call over here a conservatory, which what I believe you guys call a sunroom. So 99% of the time that's absolutely fine in the UK because you know, we don't have amazing weather. It can be a little bit uncomfortable in the summer, but it means the paint dries quick, which ain't always a bad thing. The problem is we had the hottest day on record ever since time began in this country. So sitting in a sunroom conservatory surrounded by glass, trying to go live. There's even glass behind this wall, believe it or not. This is a fake wall. This is the wall that I use to stage all my furniture on, and it is a tiny little room. There's a window, there's open doors but still glass, and the sun comes directly through that window. So even though I've blocked this wall off, the sun hits the window behind and you could fry an egg on that wall. It's hot. So like I say, normally 9 times out of 10 it's absolutely fine to work in here. That heat, it was 40 degrees Celsius, which I googled and I've forgotten what it is in Fahrenheit, but it's over 100. And yeah, that's never happened in the UK before. So it was a nice day. It's a lovely day. Yeah, not for everyone, I don't think, but that's why I didn't do my live on Tuesday as usual, because it was unbearable. We don't have aircon here. I mean, cars have it, some shops have it, homes don't have aircon. So yeah, it's not a temperature we were prepared for. So even the kids were dismissed from school because schools don't have aircon. The kids were sent home early because the temperature in the classrooms was absolutely unreal. So yeah, there's my little short story about the weather. Considering the fact that most of you that follow me are American, and I am well aware that Texas is having a heat wave also, and those kind of temperatures are not uncommon for you guys. It feels like a silly story, but there we go. So for anybody that's having extreme weather at the moment, I feel for you, because it's not the one. It is not the one. Anyway, we're back to normal. We're back to grey skies and drizzle, which is a typical British summer. So I'm back on the YouTube channel 2 days later, but not dripping with sweat, which is not attractive to anyone. Anyway, I hope you can all hear me because I do have a mic. It is a wired mic. My wireless mic and I fell out because it muted me for 10 minutes or so. So I'm back to the wireless mic. Please can somebody let me know if you can hear the audio okay, because I can see there's a couple of people watching but no comments. So I'm really hoping I just didn't rabbit on for 4 minutes. That's a dog barking in the sleep. Anyway, we're back to finish this coffee table. I'm down on the floor, so it's only going to be a really, really short live. The good thing about it is it stays on the Dixie Belle YouTube channel. You can watch it on replay to your heart's content. You can fast forward with me talking. You can also catch up with all the other videos that I've done on this coffee table if you haven't seen the progress of this. Some of them are here on the Dixie Belle YouTube channel, some of them are on my own YouTube channel, so you can switch between the two and catch up. But we've had to do this in stages because a little bit of background about this coffee table. It's only a cheap kind of modernish coffee table. There's no value to it or anything. Had some damage on the top. The top was originally going to be stained. That wasn't kind of going to plan, so we changed course, and we're going to give it a kind of industrial kind of look. So we've gone in with lots of texture and layers. Like I say, you can recap on those stages. I'm not going to go through them all, but if you want to recap on those stages, they're on previous videos. So I'm going to do a little bit of distressing with you as you requested. I was going to skip this bit, but a lot of people said that they'd like to see it being distressed, and rightly so. We've got this far. Let's do it all live. So I'm just going to distress this drawer today because, like I say, I'm sat on the floor. Coffee tables are so awkward because they're low, and I've got nothing to raise it up with at the minute because everything's kind of being worked on. So here we are. So I'm going to distress this. I'm also going to use an electric sander. So apologies if you can hear the noise of that. Well, you will be able to hear the noise of that because it's noisy. But for that reason, I'm only going to do this little, like, kind of front drawer. It's like a fake. That was a dog, just to clarify. It's like two. It's one big drawer, but it's made to look like two. It's got like a divider bit here in the centre. So I'm going to be putting two handles on here to kind of make it look like two drawers. But I'm just going to distress that today. And then I'll distress all of the other off camera because it just gets noisy and you can hear me sanding and my electric sander, and nobody wants to tune in and listen to me sanding with my electric sander. So I'm just going to show you how it reveals all the layers underneath. So if you remember, we started out with a neutral, which was drop cloth. Then we went on to Honky Tonk Red. Then we went on to the Gulf. Then we covered it all over with black, which is caviar, which you can see here. So by sanding it, and in between each of those layers, I did put a little bit of a wax resist in between, so that hopefully when I distress, it's going to reveal those colours peeking through. So I'm just going to move around. This is my electric sander. Like I say, it is noisy because it's electric, and it's also got a vacuum attached to it, so it's got a dust extractor attached to it as well, which also is noisy. But if you want to know more about this sander, it's a Festool. I do actually have a very non-technical video on my YouTube channel that tells you a little bit about this, because every time I use it, people will say, what is it? What does it do? How does it work? Blah, blah, blah. So I go into a little bit more detail over there. So head over to my YouTube channel and find that very non-technical video. Anyway, I'm going to start. I'm just going to stop talking. I'm going to start. So I've got some spent paper here from my Festool. This is actually a 60 grit paper. So it's quite gritty. It's quite a heavy grit paper. The reason for that is this has got sea spray on. Sea spray dries rock hard. Also, this has been dry for kind of at least a few days in between each layer. If you sand this when it's completely dry and it's been dried a couple of days, it's going to give you a slightly different effect than if you were to sand it when the layers are a little bit more soft. It does give a completely different effect. I actually really like both, but I think I prefer when it's a little bit soft because it looks a little bit more natural and faded. But we've had to kind of leave it in between each live and do it this way. So I'm just going to start by rubbing this really heavy grit paper around the edges of the drawer. And what that does, it's going to neaten up that drawer edge as well, because I've gone over a little bit. I don't tend to mask drawers off or anything like that. I'll tidy up afterwards because that's just how I roll. And what it does is it just gives you a hint of those colours peeking through. Sorry if this is loud. And also, if you look at stuff that is kind of distressed naturally or kind of not naturally, you will notice that most of the wear is around edges, corners of kind of drawers, lips of tables and things like that, because that's where it gets kind of battered and used the most. you don't get a huge amount of distressing in the centre. So for that reason, I've left the texture off there a little bit. We've still got a little bit of texture in the centre, but I sort of place my texture around the edges. Now I'm gonna turn this on. Actually, let me put my mic over there. I'm going to move you. I'm going to move the mic back so that it's not right next to my electric sander. Okay, I told you it was going to be loud. So I'm going to bring you in for a little close-up and show you this half of the drawer. There you go. So, there you go. So, I don't know if you noticed what I was doing when I used my electric sander to distress. The reason I'm using my electric sander is a couple of reasons. I'm sanding inside. Also, I've got very sensitive eyes. Also, this is dried like rock. And what's the other thing? Yeah, it's basically very hard to distress by hand. And I want this look all over the coffee table. So I'd be there for hours if I was doing it by hand. The paper that I've got on here is a 120 grit. So this is a slightly less sort of aggressive paper than the one that I started out with. And I concentrated on corners, around edges, and you can see, if I take you in even closer, you can see the red, you can see tiny bits of the blue. It's distressed in a really kind of random way because we applied a little bit of wax to certain areas, and you can also see some of the drop cloth, and you can tell where I've applied the texture. So the texture that I stippled on the first layer with drop cloth, that kind of dictates what this looks like now. So if you apply really kind of, you know, a lot of texture with a lot of peaks, when you sand it flat, you'll see all the little bits kind of, the peaks are sanded flat, and you get the colour that's underneath. And then again over here, a little bit of a close-up. So I intentionally tilted my sander to distress heavier around this bit, because this is going to look like one drawer even though they're joined, and it's a fake, you know, two drawers that are fake. This is kind of the impression that I wanted to give it, as this was one single drawer and that's one single drawer, if that makes sense. So you can see all the different colours, and don't worry as well if your paint goes kind of hazy and it almost looks like there's a dust on it. When you apply your top coat, that will go jet black, so don't worry about that. That's nothing to be concerned about. So that's kind of how I do it. And also what I do on the corners is I kind of do circular motions with my electric sander around the corners, because what that does is it wears, where are you? It wears the corner down more, which is where you do tend to get quite a lot of chippiness and distressing. So it's worn the corners down a little bit heavier than what we have sort of the rest of it. So that's the difference between distressed and not distressed. So like I say, I'm not going to do too much with my electric sander on camera because it's just so noisy and it doesn't make for the best live. I'm really hoping you can hear all of this because I can't see anyone commenting on the video. So I hope I haven't done this and it's been mute. This is the problem with using microwaves, not microwaves. We definitely don't use microwaves. Microphones is what we use. This is the problem with using microphones. I never know if it's working or not. I never trust them. I don't trust technology. But yeah, I'm praying that you can hear me and there's no issue with the mic. So as you can see, from kind of further back, it's not sort of really in your face. It's quite, hi Jackie, can you hear me okay? I'm just checking everybody can hear me because I have just done, 15 minutes of talking. So just to recap for you, Jackie, I'm distressing the coffee table. All the layers that we built up, we're now kind of distressing back. Oh, excellent, you can hear me. Fabulous. Always reassuring to know that I haven't just talked to myself for the last 15 minutes. So I'm distressing all of this. I've used my electric sander. It's only a very short live because nobody wants to listen to an electric sander through a microphone for too long. So no, you weren't late, Jackie. I basically, long story short, with the heat wave, I didn't do my live on Tuesday. I'm doing it today. So I just kind of popped on when it was convenient. So I'll be back next week at the same time, 2 o'clock on Tuesday, for the usual time slot. It's just the heat wave. It's too much for me to handle. Couldn't deal with it. We're not built for it. So yes, that's what I just did. Very quickly, distressed this drawer, revealed the colours underneath, and then on my own YouTube channel, once I've distressed all of this back and I'm happy with how it looks, I am going to finish this off on my own YouTube channel at some point this week. I say, oh, there you go. I turned you the wrong way. I say some point this week. What are we on now? Thursday. It will be probably tomorrow. I do have the children at home after today, so that's always going to be fun, isn't it? The kids break up from school today, last day of school today. So for the next 6 weeks, they will be about, so yeah, I'll deal with that accordingly. But yeah, I'll probably be jumping on my own YouTube channel at some point tomorrow, possibly the weekend. I don't know. I know it's hot in the UK, Dennis. I know. I've seen it in the news. I feel bad moaning about the heat over here, but it is the hottest this country's ever been. We're not equipped. We had railway tracks melting. We had roads melting. We had schools closed. It was chaos, absolute chaos for 2 days. Even my parcels didn't get delivered because yeah, the delivery people were like, no, it's a no. So yeah, crazy what a little bit of weather can do to a nation that's unprepared for heat. Mind you, saying that, we have an inch of snow when everything closes as well, so yeah, we're just not built for this. We just like mediocre temperatures. Anything else catches us off guard. Anyway, I feel like I've spoken a lot about the weather and not so much about painting. But like I say, it's just a quick one today. I'm not going to sit on here and electric sand for 20 minutes. It's going to be so boring. So I will do the next stage of this on my own YouTube channel, probably tomorrow. But I kind of roll with it. I just go with the flow. So I'm fingers crossed. If all goes according to plan, I will be on tomorrow. I want to get this thing finished and done and staged. So yeah, thank you for joining me. Sorry if you missed me on Tuesday. Hopefully my weather excuse wasn't too poor. But yeah, the weather, who'd have thought it? Ridiculous. Anyway, thank you for joining me. I'll see you all next week at the usual time slot, 2 o'clock UK time, 9 AM EST, here on the Dixie Belle YouTube channel. And if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the ding-a-lingy notification bell thing. And if you could also do the same for my own YouTube channel. I have got a multitude of videos about Dixie Belle products, makeovers and furniture flips and all kinds of things. Head over to my YouTube channel, do the same over there. Subscribe, hit the ding-a-ling notification bell, and I'll see you, hopefully, fingers crossed, all goes according to plan, tomorrow on my own YouTube channel. Thank you, bye.